So who's your favorite craftsman in the legendarium?
I have some percentage of me that's kind of a Fëanor apologist.
Hey, hey,
Some
hey!
percentage.
Unfortunately, I fear if I was able to make such beautiful things, it would be a nightmare. Hello, Middle Earthlings, and welcome to my humble home for the artists of the Tolkien sphere, aka the makers of Middle Earth. My name is María. I myself am a maker of many mediums, and today we have a very special guest. He creates handcrafted fantasy jewelry, often inspired by Lord of the Rings, in his capacity as a craftsman with a background in sculpture, metallurgy, archaeology, ancient languages, and more. Jonas of Relics of Arda, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on. It's such a joy to have you. There's a lot here, but firstly, how did you first encounter Tolkien? What is your Tolkien origin story, as it were?
I don't think I have one just because I was basically born with it. I can't remember the first time I saw the movie because, according to my mother, we first saw it when I was 3. So when I started having memory, Tolkien was already there. So
That's amazing.
and I kept watching it all my life. And but then with the books, it's a different story. I started reading the books when I was in university during my first years, reading Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Silmarillion came later, fairly recently, actually, a couple like 3 years ago. Thanks to Tolkien Untangled on YouTube. Um,
Yeah.
I caught like a few minutes of one of his videos, and it was about Maedhro's captivity and rescue by Fingon.
Yeah.
And I paused, went to the books because I already had the Silmarillion like around, and just read the whole thing and again and again. And so it's yeah, with Maedhros rescue, like the imagery, it was so beautiful, and I think I love the Silmarillion a bit more than the Lord of the Rings. And
I
that's
think
really what tipped me over the edge of obsession.
that's so relatable. Because well, because you studied ancient languages in college, in uni?
Yeah. Yeah, I did my first few years in archaeology of the ancient Near East, and then I studied ancient languages, like written in cuneiform, that sort of thing.
That's amazing, and so what a brilliant, like, literary journey to go on as you're studying ancient
Yeah,
languages. That was Tolkien's whole thing. That was his whole his whole thing.
absolutely.
Did you grow up in France? I know you're in France currently.
Yeah, I was born in a French island in the Indian Ocean, and then I like when until I was 2, we lived there. Then went to Mauritius for a couple of years, and then to Brittany, where I stayed most of my life, except for university, where I went to other cities in France and to the UK.
And to the UK! Where in
Yeah,
the UK?
Cambridge for university, but I did spend a year in London when I was in high school.
Amazing. Okay, so a
You're in
well-traveled.
you're in London now, right?
I'm in London now. Yeah,
How do you like
and
it?
do you know what? I was supposed to stay. I was gonna come for uni and then leave, and then I fell in love with it a little bit. In no small part because they have free healthcare here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that
that would do it. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
good reason.
Well, I had to, of course, like I think my first week here, I like went to Oxford to do the Tolkien tour and to see the professor's grave and
Yeah, I didn't do that. I went to Oxford only once, and it was just for a couple of days. And but I really want to go back, and but it's a lot bigger. It's a bigger city than Cambridge. I think I would still love Cambridge best.
I've been meaning to go down to Cambridge because I just read a book set in Cambridge, and so I was like,
Right.
I need to see the uni. But sorry, we're getting off track. Sorry. Um, no, but that's beautiful. That's a beautiful journey to go on because I do agree. I'm more partial to the Silmarillion, even just in its relation to the main trilogy and how it like makes it so much more deeper and more fleshed out. So you truly grew up with Tolkien, even pre-memory. It's really fun. And so your parents trained you in a bit of sculpture and metallurgy. How did
Yeah.
that come about? Like, are they both artists themselves?
Yeah. In my however, in my family, like more talking about craftsmen,
Mm.
usually. But yeah, my father was the one doing the metallurgy. Like when I was born, his job was casting bronze sculptures and also making jewelry like gold, silver. And my mother used to make some of the model that he would mold and cast in metal. So yeah, she was the one doing most of the sculpture, and he was doing the metal part of it. And my sister is also making jewelry now.
Just a family of talented people. That's amazing. At what age did they each start kind of bringing you into their respective crafts?
My thing when I was a kid was wood. I loved woodworking.
Oh,
And
nice.
so they would just help me with that because they knew a little or a lot about it, and they would help me do whatever I wanted to make. Turns out what I wanted to make was either really bad tables or okay jewelry in wood. But I started with wood, and it's still something I love to do very much. And I started making pendants made of wood when I was in high school.
When did you transition into metallurgy, metalworking with jewelry?
A couple of years ago, I realized I would be able to do a lot more intricate work, and um, and that's about when I started to do it half professionally. So after university, yeah, with metal, I realized that I could do a lot of intricate things, and so that's when my father really taught me his old work, like how he used to work, how to do everything, and so yeah, I owe it all to his knowledge.
Very generational, very
Yeah.
Tolkienian, very inheritance adjacent. What was the biggest learning curve shifting from wood to metal? Because obviously I feel like there's a bit more like
Yeah.
danger. You're working with heat, you're working with yeah.
Yeah. I need a lot of equipment, but that's also true for wood. But I found that the most difficult thing was the balance between the design and the technical challenges for any
Mm.
piece. So I had to learn a lot of possible technical problems that could arise so that I could make my designs more effectively. And there was a lot of back and forth between the two. I would make a really good something I was really happy with, like good sketch that was good. I wanted to do that in metal, but turns out not doable or not
Right.
at the moment, or I couldn't imagine how to do it. So there was a lot of back and forth between the design and the technical side of things, and that's still something I struggle with.
So you graduated uni, and did you know you were like, "I want to craft more"? Was there ever, like, an alternate vision for your life, like, what career path to follow, or did you have that gut feeling you wanted to return?
Yeah, so I came back to my parents' place in Brittany. I spent a lot of time in the workshop, in the garage with my father. I started seeing that I could do a lot more than I could before with wood. I took it more seriously than I previously did, and uh,
Mm.
and it was at the same time that I read the Silmarillion and the Fëanor and the Order Nordor making stuff, and that's really because of the Silmarillion. They were all making incredibly beautiful things, so I wanted to make beautiful stuff as well.
Okay, so who's your favorite craftsman in the legendarium, in all the books?
I have some percentage of me that's kind of a Fëanor apologist,
Hey,
some
hey,
percentage.
hey!
But I do think well, the one I would relate to the more is Celebrimbor. But I uh, I love dwarves. I think what I imagine dwarven philosophy regarding craftsmanship is something that I really like. I love some of the stuff about how Aule creates and how he sees that, but I'm not there. Clearly, he has a total absence of ego, and that's something that I would love to have, but it's not the case.
Listen,
I'll try, but yeah.
unfortunately, I fear if I was able to make such beautiful things, I would be insufferable. Be it would be a nightmare.
The thing is, Aole, he's like, I create the stuff, but then whatever, like it can.
Yeah.
I don't need it. My jewelry, I first will make it for myself, so, so that wouldn't work. And like in my rooms, there are a lot of stuff that I made, and that's the main reason why I make them. So that's the big part of Aule's philosophy that I can't really agree with.
You've got time. We'll get there. I One of my favorite parts of the Silmarillion was is toward the beginning when he's crafted the dwarves out of this, like, childish, like, wonder, like, to in the model of Iluvatar, like, he's just making because he's just so driven to create, and Eru recognizes the purity of his creation and then breathes life to I don't know, it's such a beautiful ah! My favorite is Yavanna, but,
Okay.
Aule's Aule's her consort, so I guess he's alright.
Yeah, my favorite is
Um,
Niena. I of all the Valar and Valier, my favorite is Niena, absolutely.
Niana's Niana's very underrated.
And then Aule, but Niena.
That's taste, that's good taste. So walk me through what is like a day-to-day look like for a craftsman like you? What's like a day look like for you?
With my work, the main challenge is to make the first piece of whatever
Mm,
it is, a pendant, a ring, and for that, any number of techniques are allowed. You can work with any material, any technique. So I have to make the first model. So I can use sculpture, carving, 3D modeling is great, 3D sculpture. So then I have to print it for those. And once I have the first model, then I make molds of it, and then I'm able to cast it in metal. And then a lot of work to,
mm,
to resculpt what needs to be resculpted, and to
uh,
polish and to make the textures that I like. One of the big part is the patina to make it darker, and there's subtleties in the colors that I try to get. It's not as hard as other metals because I work with tin alloys, so like pewter, but it's one made for jewelry, and it's a really good one. I was really happy when I found this one. It's a good alloy. It's made in France, and it's nice, but it's easier to work with than other metals. Half of my day is spent in the workshop because I have orders now, so I need to prepare those. But a lot of is also just making new designs or trying to fix older designs. The past week, that was what I was doing. There's one pendant with two women back to back and some Avish. And I tried to make a lighter version of it because I felt like it was a bit massive. This week, I was working on that. Making another one, and I'm pretty happy with the new one.
Oh,
You'll probably see it soon. Yeah.
absolutely. I can't wait. With the legendary, I mean, there's so much inspiration to pull from. Do you pull from outside as well? Like, what does kind of inspiration hunting look like for you?
Yeah, a lot of Art Nouveau, a lot of really great creators, and my favorite is René Lalique. So he was making glass sculptures for some of his life, but also a lot of jewelry. His jewelry and the sketches for his jewelry, even more than his jewelry. His sketches are amazing. Like I think it's the closest humanity ever got to Fëanor. He's incredible. His
That's
drawings are
high praise.
incredible, and that's a big inspiration for me, especially when it comes to elven stuff. Otherwise, history for a lot of it. The goal when I started this was to only make original designs, but that would feel familiar. I think that a big part of it is to use actual historical artifacts that could and or some elements of them that could feel right at home in Middle Earth, and maybe try to get the same inspirations that Tolkien got, and to have some logic behind it to tie the whole thing together, which is kind of a mess now. But there was supposed to be some logic behind every piece.
I don't think it's a mess, but I think that's really smart though, because something I've noticed, and I'm not alone, in a lot of modern fantasy is that fantasy writers like Tolkien used to pull from history, but now a lot of modern fantasy is pulling from itself, from its
Mhm.
own genre. So it's become more and more generic,
Yeah.
which is why I think that your designs are so striking because they're actually grounded in something real. Do you have a favorite jewelry design from the movies? Because Obviously, so many iconic designs from the films.
I think my favorite designs in the movies are not jewelry. They're like
Mm, the
some of
weapons.
the nurse, actually the bed in Rivendell, the one where Frodo wakes up in.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most beautiful drawing from Alan Lee, and then it's really nice. Yeah. So yeah, some of the furniture in Rivendell, I think those are my favorite designs. Also, I love the crowns of the Nazgûl in when Frodo sees them on Weathertop. I think the
Mhm.
crowns are really nice. Yeah.
What has sort of stayed with you most in the Legendarium? Like, what is it about the Silmarillion that resonated with you so deeply that made you love it more than rings? Like, how do you where is that inside your spirit that has moved you so much?
The scale in for me, one of the big difference is really the scale, and to have like those almost archives of this uh, past is yeah, it's beautiful. It's exactly like historical documents, but a lot better. like
Right.
actually, like you can find some really beautiful historical documents. There's no doubt, but most of the time, well, my thesis was on the archival documents in the Neo-Assyrian Empire, and they were fun, like because I found out what I was doing with them was fun, and I chose them so that it would be fun to work with. But otherwise, your typical archival text is how much food gets delivered someplace, and there you and even the royal lists are yeah, it's pretty dry. But I can
Right.
have with Tolkien like a perfect version of historical documents, which is something I like. But personally, it's the imagery. It's just beautiful all the time. There's not one page you can open and not have something beautiful in it, and it's something that I I struggle to find elsewhere.
I relate to that a lot because I find my taste has been so deeply shaped by Tolkien, among other things. But like there are a lot of art movements that grapple with the grotesque, that are sort of they intentionally subvert beauty and the expectation of things to be beautiful, and I love that, and I think that's great, and I think that's important. But I'm just so much more interested in things that are lovely. Um, because it's not just beauty for the sake of beauty, it's beauty and the journey to preserving it and the goal to preserve it despite the understanding that it will fade. If you had the materials and resources to make any one artifact, from the Legendarium, what would you make?
I think the Fëanorian lamps, I prefer them than the Silmarils usually, and one of the reasons is that it's entirely his creation, uh,
Mm. Yeah.
and yeah, I think those are my favorite of Fëanor's creation, and so also stuff that I'm interested in, like how light works and how it relates to something you make and how you can play with it. Yeah, Fëanorian lamps, I think it's a big achievement for Fëanor, and probably my favorite.
When I was a kid, I would, accompany my dad to anytime he would go to the kind of the hardware store to get supplies for his work, because he's very handy as well. Um, I would accompany him, and then he would let me just go wander the aisle that had all the light fixtures. Just all the lamps and the chandeliers and the so I do relate to that. It's just the prettiest thing in the world. We haven't even sort of gotten into, like, one of the way I found you was social media. Like, you have such a great you managed to translate your work so well to a digital medium.
Most of my videos are extremely shaky and bad lighting, and but now I think I'm getting better. I think I'm getting better, and it's really nice because I didn't expect that I would love it that much, because I met a lot of incredible people, and I love to have their what they think of the designs, if some work, if some don't work, which is a lot of them don't really work, and it's really interesting to hear why. Why do you see that as more Numenorian than from the Edain? That's really interesting stuff.
Mm.
And or I try to make something Elvish, and it's somehow feels more Gondorian. I
Mhm.
want to, I want to know why it feels that way, and so the only way for me to get that sort of input is by social media, and so it's really really nice.
I love that you're in conversation with the wider community about authenticity with the influences. Like, I love that on your website, you encourage people to, like, contact you if they think something is anachronistic.
Yeah.
That's so bold because I would be like, "I don't wanna hear what you do not under any circumstances tell me." So I think that's really g first of all, brave, but, like, really lovely that you are open to that sort of feedback from people.
The best place for that is Reddit, right?
They'll tell
It
you.
they'll tell you.
They will tell you.
So that's really good. And so I was a bit scared at first, and but the first few posts I made posts on Reddit before I made them on Instagram and TikTok because I didn't really have a name or a presence or website, and it was just I posted a few stuff on Reddit, my very first things, and that's where I got my first feedback. And so some was good, some was bad, but almost all of them were very interesting.
See, I think that is you might be closer to Aule than you think, because I think that shows a real humility and a real complete lack of ego to be able to engage in that way with strangers and have them give feedback on your have a bunch of, like, non-artists give feedback on your work. I think that's really cool, and not a lot of people do that. So I think you should give yourself credit for that because that's difficult.
Uh, yeah, I found it personally and professionally, artistically, it did me a lot of good to be part of the community and exchange with a lot of people. It's such a wealth to have thousands and thousands of people who spend their life imagining Tolkien's
Yeah.
world, and it, it would not be a good decision to just ignore all that and oh yeah, I'm trying to use that.
That's lovely because we really do have infinite access to infinite knowledge, and that's such a
Yeah.
gift. Do you see yourself, and maybe when you're old and gray, taking apprentices one day?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully before I'm old and grey. I consider myself right now as an apprentice, really. So,
Sure.
and yeah, the old master is still here. He's right behind, and he's working. Every technique that I have, it's all his. It's not yet mine.
Did you find that your relationship with your father changed once you started practicing his once you became his apprentice, essentially?
The thing that I like the most is trying to surprise him. Because he taught me most of what I know. I have the same basic skills as him,
Yeah.
and when I succeed to do something that is unexpected, or that he's wondering how I did it, it's really fun, and so to be able to exchange on those things, it's really nice, and we spend a lot more time together now, and it's really nice.
That's the most precious thing. That's very, very sweet. I love that. Um, Final question. If you could ask Tolkien himself any question, what would it be? Stress. Just nightmare question.
I don't know. I don't know, but it would. I don't have any specifics, but I think Mary wrote books at the end of his life about the connection between the hobbits and the Rohirrim, and also on nature. I think, and I would like all of Mary's books. I think he's probably my favorite character in the Lord of the Rings. Well, what
Really?
yeah, him and Eowyn. I think Eowyn is my favorite character, but Merry is the one I relate to the most. I loved his relationship with Theoden and everything in Rohan, and with Eowyn, and yeah, Merry is incredibly brave. But other than that, I relate to him a lot. And Eowyn, I think it's a really really beautiful character. It's not just I am no man. It's but no living man am I. Eowyn I am, Eowyn's daughter, and you stand between me and my lord and king. And it's just like a big thing, beautifully written, and it's really intense. And yeah, she's there. Witch King is there. Theoden is there, and she
Very.
stands, and she's really impressive, and that's a really beautiful moment, and I love that she's with Mary and that he has his role in that. And yeah, those two, and then the next chapter is like just Eowyn and Faramir just talking, and that's probably my favorite chapter.
If I'm not having a Faramir Eowyn love, I don't want it.
I also relate a lot to just gardening. That's something but I think a lot of Lord of the Rings fans could just imagine themselves gardening, and to imagine that, yeah, those two characters did get to just grow together in the gardens of Ithilien. That's yeah, something I like a lot.
Oh, to garden an Ithilien with the love of your life till the end of your days.
Yeah.
Oh, to have. Oh, to have that. May we all be so lucky. And on that note, this has been so lovely. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I will put your links in the description. Everyone, go buy stuff from Relics of Arda. Go support Jonas.
Not necessarily, just have a look if you like. A share, that's already a lot.
Yeah, have a look. See, Jonas, thank you so much for coming on the
You're
show,
welcome. Thanks a lot.
and I will see you all in Arda.